Hi, I'm a wreck, but that's nothing new. So I don't really even think about vlogging anymore, to be honest, especially because of the quarantine situation. I mean, it's not like I really left the house much anyway, I guess, but it's just really taken like a toll on me, and I just don't really think about recording videos much. But here's a reason why I'm pretty fucked up right now. I have been trying to fix my sleeping schedule, and it's 2:30 in the afternoon right now, and I feel absolutely fucked. Like, I've just, the nausea and like my eyes and just everything that comes with fixing a sleeping schedule. Like, I'm not a person that can just straight up do an all-nighter and fix it. I have to do it gradually, and oh my god, it's like one of the hardest things to do for me, especially because I still have this undiagnosed stomach issue. I don't know if I talked about it in my last video update. I think I did, but if I didn't, I have basically like acid reflux, and my medication wasn't helping anymore, so something's going on. Like, I know I feel like I'm out of breath. I don't know what's going on. So sorry if this is a little bit sporadic, but I just wanted to do this because I really did feel like talking. And I'm alone right now, so I don't actually really have anyone to talk to, so it's a good time for me to do this and get some stuff off my chest, really. But it feels weird to be talking in my loud voice as well, because I'm used to talking softly because of ASMR, and I'm like, oh, this is actually my real voice. Yeah, so that stomach issue is really becoming a major fucking problem, because I'm in pain like every day of my life because of it. I've had blood tests done, I was tested for celiac, a bunch of other stuff, because I had to have because I had my initial blood test which got tested for a bunch of stuff, and then they needed to do like a retest just specifically for celiac, which my mum has, and I was really fucking terrified that I was going to have it, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many things I love that have gluten in them, and it just was going to be impossible. Like, I love food, but I only love the food that I like, if that makes sense. Like, I can't say that I'm like a foodie or whatever, because my palate is still fairly like limited. But when it comes down to it, you know, like when I cook, I enjoy the food that I've cooked. I'm like, wow, this is good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes eating feels like a chore. It's like, oh, I do it because I have to, and then sometimes it's like, oh, you know, I eat food and it's good and whatever. But probably like for as long as the quarantine's been going on, I've sort of had this issue, I think. And I've just done a stool sample, which, if you didn't know, it's a sample of your shit that gets tested at a lab to see if there's a specific like bacteria or something in your gut. And I really hope it is that, so then I can just close the case on it, treat it, close the book. But something tells me that's just not going to happen, and something just tells me I'm not going to find out what's wrong with me, and I'm going to be suffering forever. Well, not forever, but you know what I mean. It's like, I'm not seeing an end in sight, I'm not seeing hope on the horizon, so I really think that's been quite a detriment to my mental health, because when you're in physical pain, it starts causing you mental pain. And it's the same the other way around, as mental pain causes physical pain and all that jazz. Like, I feel so ill, like, when I do this. It's crazy. And I get like trembles, like my body will just like tremble, and I get like heart palpitations. Right now I just barely even feel like a human being that's functioning, and probably when I watch this back I'm going to be like, well, what, you look like you're like on drugs, but I swear I'm not on drugs. This is just a lack of sleep, and really my body doesn't understand what's going on, because it's like, well, when do you want me to sleep? Like, what is this? We're going to sleep when it's light outside and waking up when it's dark. So yeah, don't really want to be doing that. in other news, I started going to counselling, and I mean, it helps to have someone to talk to, but I haven't made any progress with my mental health. I literally have not changed, but you know, I don't really expect to, I guess, because you know, I'm not really like deep into it where we're like doing real proper exercises yet, you know, like it's more just like a venting session every time I go there at this point, because a lot of my mental issues actually kind of stem from kind of relationship issues, so my relationship's like a big sort of thing that causes problems in my life. Well, then just don't be in one. Yeah, well. Once you're in love with somebody, it doesn't matter. Like I'll never end a relationship unless I really think there is no possible way in hell it could ever be salvaged, and it's just like done. And I'm not at that point, which is why I'm still, you know, in the relationship, is because I see ways that things can be worked on and fixed. Like I'm not just gonna walk away from it. Like I'm not that person. I'll fight to the bitter end. Like I've only been in one relationship in my life, obviously, besides this one, and that was a 5.5-year relationship, and that died like 2 or 3 years in. So you can see how much like I beat a dead horse staying in that relationship, you know, when it just wasn't good for either of us. But I fought to the bitter end because I was like, I need to make this work. I really want to make this work. This has to work. This needs to work. You know, this person, I thought I was going to marry him, which is just fucking crazy now. But, you know, it's just like, I know in my head and my heart, like, what is the right decision for me. So it's just like, if anybody tries to tell me otherwise, it's like, just don't. Like, and that's one thing I'll never do. Like, I'll never tell somebody to straight up leave someone. I'll try and provide, you know, advice and try and let them know, you know, this, what the, you know, for example, if somebody is in an abusive relationship, you know, you need to let them know that what that person is doing to them is wrong, and it's not okay, and it's not fair, and, you know, you should really consider and think about what your options are in the relationship. I'd never just straight up tell somebody to fucking break up with their partner, because I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me, because somebody did do that to me, and then I just cut them out of my life, because I'm like, you have some sort of ulterior motive here, and it's just ridiculous, and people just like jumping to conclusions. It's like, don't jump to conclusions when you don't actually know the proper situation. You're only hearing just like snippets of things that have happened from my side. Like you're not getting the full big picture, and like nobody ever really will understand what goes on in my relationship, because it's between me and the person I'm with, and only we know really what goes on with each other, and you're not going to explain every little thing that goes on to people. So yeah, I mean, I guess that was kind of like a rant sort of thing, but it's like, I don't, the only person I really want advice from, I guess, like, is my counsellor, and, you know, friends can put in their opinions and say stuff, but it's just like, I'm still going to go with, you know, what I think and what I believe is right. And I think that's very key to life, actually, is that you should still be able to form your own opinions and make your own decisions. Don't let somebody else like come in and just completely take over and influence what you've done and the things you do and the way you think. Like, just don't let somebody else sway your decision like that. Still be able to form your own, if that makes sense. I'm preaching here. Anyway, I also got a bit caught up today with thinking about, you know, my future, because like every day now I feel like I am doing fuck all. Like I am not doing anything to get anywhere or help myself, and nothing's progressing, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm always worried about my future. What am I going to do? What's my career going to be? Everything I've done so far hasn't worked. Am I ever going to be able to work a normal job? All of these things that go around in my head like all the time. And then I have the stress of, you know, doing creative work and running out of ideas and not having the energy to even record and make videos, because it's one thing for me to you know, get ready, like get into the mindset for recording, because you know, whether you like believe it or not, you actually do have to be in a mindset to sit down and record a video, because like I said, it's only when I get like inspired that I actually want to record videos. And I talked about this on my ASMR channel. It's just like when I'm not feeling creative and when I'm depressed, literally zero motivation in the pits of hell, how am I gonna like pick myself up and do like a creative job like this? It's like I sound like I'm complaining about like something really dumb, but it's one of those things that you just wouldn't really understand unless it was what you did. But you know, I'm just like that with everything, and it's just like I was like that with my, you know, academic work, because I just did A-level psychology. And by the way, I got an A because I got a calculated grade, and I knew it would be an A, so it's not really a surprise to me. It's just kind of like, oh, well, that's what I expected. I'm happy with that. I bet you anything it's going to be better than what I would have gotten in an actual exam, so I fucking take it. So that's good, but that qualification don't mean shit, and it's actually worthless, except for the fact, you know, that I learned things. Like, there's that aspect of it, but the qualification itself isn't really going to be useful, because basically, you know, I thought for a while about whether I'd be able to do university, and I came to the conclusion that there's just no way because of how stressed I got doing an A-level. And I'm like, it's like on a larger scale, it's on a massive scale. If I have to do that but on a larger scale, how am I going to cope when I couldn't even cope with the A-level? And a large part of that, I think, is because I did it from home, and there's too many distractions, and I'd procrastinate all the time, and there'd always be something else I could be doing instead, because when you're on your personal computer, there's too much shit. Like, you cannot just focus on doing work. It just doesn't happen in like the human brain, honestly. So I need to have like a separate like work laptop if I thought I was gonna pursue that. And I thought about going to physical university, but then once again, that's not happening, because I'd have to now do an extra at least 2 A-levels and get good grades in them to get into university. Fuck that. Like, that's just ridiculous. I don't know why the requirements are so dumb. Like, why is my one A-level A not good enough? I don't understand. Because, guess what? There's this thing called the Open University, which is an online one. Guess what the entry requirements are for those courses? None. Because they believe education should be available to all. Now that's the real fucking MVP. Like, fuck these other universities for making you do shit that's like not even like necessary. Like, you don't need to do something that isn't related to the course you're going to be pursuing. Like, oh yeah, look at me, I've got an A-level in fucking English, and like, oh, I've got one in construction, and now I'm doing a psychology like degree. That's not fucking relevant, is it? If you had like a bunch of random A-levels, why does that show that you should get onto this course? It doesn't make any sense. You should only need the relevant A-level, which is what is linked to the degree that you're doing, in my opinion. But you know, you could call me out on that one, but that's what I believe. So if I did that, I would be doing criminology with law, which I know that's not psychology, is it? But I think I'm actually more interested in the criminology side of things. But you know, psychology is still basically a part of criminology. You know, it's still to do with human behaviour. It's just, you know, specifically crime, which is what I have a bigger interest in that area. And then law also would ensure that there's certain jobs I think that it would open up to me if I did them together, you know. But I'm like, what if it's a mistake? If I do it and then it's a mistake and I don't want to do it and I hate it and it's not for me, then it's too late, because you have to do it at that point. There's no choice to back out, because you've got the student loan shit on your back. So there's no way you can just quit and walk away from it. So that's the problem. Is like, once if I decide I'm going to do that, I'm tied to it. There's no choice. Which is the hardest thing to come to terms with, because you know it's just like a basically irreversible decision. And things I just like, I do believe in myself, but I don't at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I know myself and I know what I'm like, and I just feel like I'd fuck it up. Honestly, I just really do. But that's just really my thought process at the moment. I don't know what else to really talk about, but that's just what's going through my mind, is, you know, what's my future going to be, and then am I even going to be able to hold down a full-time job, because I never have been able to, and like, is my mental state ever going to be better? Am I ever going to like get out of this? I just don't know. Like, everything's so uncertain, and especially in a time like this, everything's very, you know, tense and uncertain, and, you know, a lot of people are going through shit. But, you know, I'm still here, still going, still trying, but struggling. But I'll end on that note, and I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope it wasn't too annoying, but that's just some stuff I wanted to get off my chest. And I'm probably gonna go to bed very soon. It's just so hard. Okay, bye.